Hi everyone, today I wanted to talk about my favorite books that I have read. So getting right into it, Gone Girl. I love the movie. I had to get the book. Sadly, I usually don't like the books if I have already seen the movie, since a lot of the time I just prefer watching the movie, except with Gone Girl, both the movie and book are amazing. The build up, the twists, the perspectives of both Amy and Nick is perfect. The book is, I feel like, more in depth than the movie, of course, but either way, they are just so good. Spoiler alert, of course. At first, I didn't like the ending of Gone Girl in the book. I was mad. I couldn't believe that Nick was trapped, stuck in a relationship he has no way out of almost. But then I realized how genius it is. This meant that even though Nick Dunn won and didn't get punished for a crime he didn't commit, he still lost, showing just what a spiderweb Amy is. Next up, The Lovely Bones. I think this is one of the most jaw-dropping books I have read. This book is so depressing and chilling. There is not one moment I read this book and felt comfortable. There is several chapters that are just so heart-wrenching, and the ending just shatters me. It's a feminist novel in my opinion because it is a story about several girls who were destroyed at the hands of a cruel man, which this happens in real life on the daily. This book is a great example. It doesn't romanticize the killer. It doesn't focus on the killer's life and make them the main character. It really does just focus on how the murder of Susie Salmon affected the family and shattered their hearts for years to come, while also showing Susie in heaven and how she may feel in the afterlife. Yeah, of course, we do see scenes that are about Mr. Harvey, but the book does a great job at making him look like what he really is, a monster. Most true crime books, I feel like, tend to make killers look like broken people who just need love, but in reality, nothing is attractive or hot about this. It's very much sad and life-destroying for not only the victims, but also the families of the victims. This is a book I wouldn't read again due to how chilling it is, but I am keeping it because it is such an important book. However, speaking of killer stories, Joe Goldberg. You've probably seen him on Netflix's show You, which is one of my favorite shows. We know he is evil, but we just can't look away. In this show, he is nearly written to be charming, written in a way that makes us root for him almost, even when he does unforgivable things. But the book is not like that. If Netflix used this book and stayed true to the source material, I don't think the show would have been so popular, because in this book, Joe is not charming. He is very much creepy, violating, perverted, scary, hurting women before he even realizes it. It's an uncomfortable story that you won't be able to put down. In the show, a lot of us tend to just root for Joe Goldberg because the perspective is very much on the killer and his love life and how he should be able to escape his problems and get away with what he does wrong. A lot of people who watch the show will root for Joe Goldberg, even if he does awful things, basically. But in the book, I don't read it and think, how will Joe escape? I think, I hope his girlfriend knows how to, before it's too late. The Chic Diet. This book is very much satire and based in EDs, but like I've said in previous videos, I love stories I could relate to, and this one is very relatable. It's funny but tragic. It's a story about how the chic girls get thin, and it's not a book to use for good advice. This book is very much a guide on how the characters destroy themselves, but just can't stop. It's written in a way that'll make you laugh, but it's genius because now you're not uncomfortable. Because you're laughing, you think it's funny, but now because you're not uncomfortable, you can't put the book down, which means you're diving deeper into how disturbing their lives may be. The book is almost like a car accident. You just can't look away. Because of how this book is written, though, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody who may be prone to developing any type of disorder, though. But moving on, Call Me By Your Name. I got into this book because of the movie. I thought the movie was tragic, honestly. It, in my opinion, is filmed like a love story. Two people who are not allowed to be together, even if they want to be. People either view the book and movie as affection or just cruelty. But the movie is very much, from my perspective, made to be a romance story, even though I'm pretty sure the author has admitted before that the story Call Me By Your Name is not meant to be a love story. Yeah, in the movie, Call Me By Your Name ends with a very sad ending. It's not happy, but still it's filmed to be like a love story that wasn't able to be worked out. I actually watched the movie while going through a breakup, so it was awful for me. Because when Elio started crying, I did too. But in the book, part 1 of the series is what the movie is based on. It is a lot more intimate than the movie. There's actually parts that people are freaked out by in the book. So I've seen Reddit posts about the book and how people might be uncomfortable by it. I've even seen videos talking about different weird parts of the book. Part 2, though, is a follow-up of Call Me By Your Name. Both stories are loaded with a lot of emotion and plot writing that isn't meant to be a fantasy, but rather a reality for a lot of people. Life is messy, and it can explain why the characters feel so intense. Whether you agree or not with the story, it is something that I don't doubt happens in real life, and I really appreciate realistic fiction, regardless of how much I love supernatural and magical stories. Obviously, there are parts in both books that are quite questionable, but you can't deny the fact that it is a very interesting story. And plus, how would I get rid of the book anyway if I wanted to? Because Timothée Chalamet is on the cover, and he's just so pretty. But lastly, Gravity Falls. This is a book I no longer own but would love to have back. I barely remember Gravity Falls since it has been so long, but I do remember the fandom and how creative and fun it was. I remember how exciting the show was to watch as well, how mysterious but also funny it was, and how we all kind of made theories to discover the secrets of Gravity Falls. I wouldn't mind having the book back, honestly. I miss it even though I haven't read it in years, but I love the journal because of all the weird creatures from Gravity Falls and supernatural discoveries. It was a very creative book, and I think one of Disney's most incredible works they've ever made in terms of a TV show. But yeah, that is it. Tell me which books are your favorite. But anyway, I will see you in the next video. Bye!